How's it going, everybody? My name is Davies. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I was just taking a couple weeks off filming videos because I've been teaching a lot. I've been helping out my friends who are taking summer vacations, summer breaks from their schools, and I'm just swooping in there and teaching all of their classes. But here I am back for another video for you guys, and because, you know, the past 6-7 weeks, something like that, we've all been stuck inside, encouraged not to go out, not to travel, not to drive around. And for us YouTubers, sometimes that can be a little bit of a challenge, especially for me. I love, you know, those videos I make where I just drive into the mountains on my scooter, or I check out one of the beautiful islands of Taiwan. So I got the idea to film this video today, which is me looking back to last summer, where I drove my scooter around the entire island of Taiwan. Took me about 2 weeks. This was my great Huan Dao trip. I absolutely had an amazing time exploring all of these beautiful, amazing places in Taiwan that I hadn't necessarily had a chance to see before. So in this video, I want to take you back to that trip, and I want to show you my top 5 highlights of my Huan Dao around Taiwan, and hopefully give you an idea of maybe what you yourself would want to see if you ever decided to make a trip like that. So without further ado, here is my top 5 most recommended places that I saw on my Huan Dao last summer. So I suppose I'll do this in chronological order. So the first place I hit up on my Huan Dao was Kenting. I'm sure all of you are aware of the supreme beauty of Kenting. There's a reason why so many people all around Taiwan and all around the world love coming here, especially in the summer. The cliffs are green, there's so much you can do, beautiful, amazing beaches and ocean that you can explore, and I just loved starting off my Huan Dao at this beautiful place. And I was lucky enough to go there at the same time as my friends Nate and Kim, who at the time were exploring Taiwan as well. So they're now back in Belgium, but it's been really nice looking back on this old footage of us just driving up and down those amazing roads of Kenting, trying out the night market, trying all that amazing food. And speaking of the food down in Kenting, that is one of the places in Taiwan where you can get some of the absolute best and most fresh seafood at incredibly affordable prices. So this would absolutely be, if not number 1, then easily in my top 5 favorite places in Taiwan, and especially on this Huan Dao trip. So I think if you ever do a Huan Dao yourself, you absolutely cannot miss Kenting. It is definitely one of my top recommended places. So leaving Kenting, you're going to want to drive up along the east coast to the north, and one of the first major areas you will find is of course Taidong City. Now I would recommend leaving Taidong City and heading west into those mountains, where you will find a beautiful little resort hot spring town called Jilong. Now I absolutely love Jilong. I think I've been there 2 or 3 times in my time here in Taiwan, and it's just one of those places that is so beautiful and so relaxing and just so tucked away and hidden from the rest of busy, bustling Taiwan. You can easily spend 2 or 3 days here, even though it's small, but you will just be able to unwind, relax in those hot springs, and there are actually many mountain roads surrounding that whole region. So I definitely took a day just driving around, seeing where the wheels of my scooter would take me, flying my drone, checking out the waterfalls. Yeah, I absolutely loved Jilong. And in Jilong, you can actually find some amazing food, surprisingly amazing, authentic local dishes, some of which were inspired by the Aboriginal tribes that live in that area. But just, you know, keep your eyes open and be willing to try whatever comes across your path. You're gonna find amazing food. You're going to be able to relax in some of the nicest hot springs in Taiwan and just have yourself an amazing couple of days before you head off to your next destination on your Huan Dao. So this next section technically isn't on my top 5 list, but as you're driving from Jilong or Taidong up to Hualien, you're definitely going to want to take the mountain road at least part of the way so that you can drive through Qishan. Now this is one of the most amazing places I've ever seen in Taiwan or otherwise. These are some of the most beautiful rice fields you've ever seen, and they just keep going and going as far as the eye can see. This place is famous for a reason. You're definitely going to want to check out Qishan, drive through those rice fields on your way up north. Okay, so we're driving up the east coast of Taiwan now, heading toward Hualien, and I was lucky enough to stay at an amazing little resort called the Bear Forest Resort. I highly recommend you stay there for a night or two on your Huan Dao, because this place was just beautiful, relaxing, secluded little resort just tucked away in the countryside of Hualien County. Now I got super lucky because the owner of Bear Forest Resort, he is good buddies with one of the local pilots who owns his own private little airfield in the area. And they asked me if I wanted to take a morning and actually fly up in the air with this pilot to check out Hualien from above. Now I have to say, this was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my whole life. Just seeing Hualien from the air like that, I mean, you can drive through it, it's beautiful. You can check out a vantage point from the mountains, of course you'll enjoy that. But for me, there's nothing like getting up into the air and just seeing Hualien from above. It was a spectacular sight. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, and the pilot was so cool. He was so friendly, and he made me feel very relaxed up there, even though that was the smallest airplane I've ever flown in. And he even did a few tricky aerial maneuvers in the air, like a barrel roll, and he also did a loop-de-loop. So yeah, I just walked away from that morning, that experience flying up in the air, just, you know, being so thankful for that experience. It was amazing. I will put the links down below if you guys want to contact that airfield and see if he's willing to take you up to experience Hualien from a completely new perspective. So the drive from Hualien all the way up north is going to be one of the most beautiful drives you've ever experienced in your life. You'll definitely want to pass through Yilan, which is an amazing place all on its own, but I think for my next recommendation on this list has to be Jilong, Taiwan. It's a small port city. It used to be a fishing village. Now it's kind of bloomed into this sort of hustle and bustle port city. For some reason, I just love this town. I don't know what it is about it. It really reminds me of maybe what Taiwan might have been like 60, 70 years ago, something like that. The streets are so narrow and winding and twisting all the way up this mountainous area which surrounds the city. I love Jilong. People tell me I'm crazy when I tell them I want to move there. Apparently it does rain a lot. That maybe would bother me if I lived there, but as for visiting the town, you're really going to enjoy Jilong, Taiwan. It's got an amazing night market, and there's so much old Taiwanese and Japanese history surrounding the town. It used to be occupied by the Japanese forces, so if you climb up into the mountains, do a little bit of hiking, you will find all these ancient tunnels and pillboxes, all remnants of the Japanese past of Taiwan. And for me, I just found that whole subject very fascinating to learn about. Taiwan does a really good job about putting up various plaques and information signposts all around the city, which you can read and learn more about the past of Jilong. And of course, while you're in the area, you're gonna wanna take a little trip along the coastline and up the mountain and visit a small ancient gold mining town called Jiufan. This was one of the major gold mining and mining areas of Taiwan during the Japanese occupation period. You can check out the Gold Mining Museum, and it's just one of these little unbelievable hole-in-the-wall hidden gems that you can find in Taiwan. Several movies have been shot there. People say it's the inspiration for the Miyazaki movie Spirited Away, and also a Taiwanese movie called City of Sadness was filmed there. Again, it's got this sort of almost lonely, sad, nostalgic feeling to it that, I don't know, you have to see it to believe it. You walk through these ancient old alleyways. It's a little bit touristy now, but you can still get that feeling of what ancient or old Taiwan would have felt like. So definitely Jilong and Jiufan, you have to stop here if you are doing your Huan Dao. Also, I should mention, if you are lucky enough to be doing this in August, then you might come across the Ghost Festival. They have a famous event in Jilong City where they actually build many lanterns and boats, set them on fire, and then release them into the ocean at 12 o'clock midnight. I think this year it's August 22nd, so do a little bit of research on that, but that was definitely something that I did not expect to see, and it was like a very cultural and historically significant event that you won't want to miss if you are in the area in Ghost Festival, in Ghost Month. Okay, and lastly, as you travel around the north coast of the island and then down the west coast, it's up to you what you want to see. You could stop in Taipei or Taoyuan, Hsinchu. I stopped in a few of those places, really enjoyed it, but I think I've been focusing too much on the east coast of Taiwan for good reason. The east coast is the most beautiful and most amazing part of Taiwan if you're doing a Huan Dao like this. Just the driving is so good. But I do want to give a special shout out to Tainan City, which I passed through on my way back down the west side of Taiwan. Just stopping in Tainan, it is the ancient capital of Taiwan. It was the old Dutch colony back 400-500 years ago, and the city is just full of ancient traditions and culture and cultural events and festivals, and of course temples like the Chikan Temple and the Confucius Temple. So you will definitely want to spend a few days in Tainan exploring the city and checking out this ancient capital of Taiwan. It's absolutely beautiful. There's a nice compact downtown area where you can just walk around, checking out all these beautiful, amazing temples and experiencing probably some of the best food in Taiwan as well. And it was really amazing to see how much energy and effort the city is actually putting in to revitalizing and renovating these old temples and just making sure that these places can still be enjoyed decades into the future by future generations. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. It was just so fun making this, digging out my old footage and reliving the Huan Dao that I did almost exactly a year ago now. I really had such a great time. I love getting up onto my scooter, exploring, getting out on the open road and just seeing where the road and the wind will take me. So if you have time, if you have a chance, I would really recommend you do a Huan Dao of Taiwan. Maybe check out some of the places I mentioned and just have fun, explore. You know, the great thing about Taiwan is there are so many different places you can stop along the way. I think you're gonna have a fantastic trip. If you have done a Huan Dao, let me know down in the comments maybe what were your top 5 or what are some of your top recommendations for people who want to do a similar trip. Thank you guys for watching. It's been nice filming again, making another video for you guys. Please like and subscribe, do all those nice things. It really helps the channel a lot, and I will see you guys sooner rather than later. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.